Ganun. Yan liker manike.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Doctor. Amit Prabhu sir has also come. Amit, sir,
Thank you, sir.
Great.
Thank you, sir. Sir, here I have a network issue, sir, so I couldn't open the video, sir.
okay. Fine, Doctor. Amit ji.
Hello, good evening, Ram
Good
Kumar
evening,
sir.
Amit ji. Good evening, ji. Ji, the content is very simple. Content is very simple. Time is 6:30. We'll wait till 6:35. 6:35 sharp. We'll be starting it. So welcome and introduction. Welcome. I'll welcome the people and a small. Sorry, welcome will done by our secretary, Dr. Raja. Then about PRSI, I'll speak for a minute, and then we'll invite you. You can introduce yourself and you can speak about the topic. 45 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes, and then open forum, then vote of thanks. Okay. So we'll end up at 7:30 G.
Do you want me to keep some time for question and answer? I think that's good also.
Yes,
So I'll talk
yes,
for
yes.
25-30 minutes and then
Yes.
question and answer for about 20 minutes.
Normally people don't ask so much of questions, but
No
no
problem.
problem. You can decide your own time.
If they decide to ask questions, they can put it in the chat box and I'll
Yes.
see questions and pick them up. No problem. So
Yes. And you are
done.
expert in that we know.
I'm nothing, but I'm happy to do this for PRSI Chennai. Yes. I'm
Great.
ready
Thank you
when you
so
are.
much.
I'm going to keep myself mute till then. I'm here.
Yes. 6:35, we'll get back ahead. Friends, welcome you all. Please wait till 6:35. 4 more minutes. We'll start sharp at 6:35 p.m. And the e-certificate, what we promised will be, the feedback form will be posted at 7:30. The certificates will be issued to the people who attended till the end of the program. After that, we'll post the feedback form in the chat box. You fill the details and you'll automatically get the certificate before tomorrow morning. So please please wait till 6:35.
चलो हो गया 6:35 से स्टार्ट
Dr. Raja, you can start the meeting.
Yes, sir. Very good evening, one and all present here. We welcome you all for the wonderful webinar, The House of PR by Mr. Amit Prabhu. He is a PR professional from Gurgaon. We welcome you, sir, for this wonderful webinar. PRSI is a Public Relations Society of India, Chennai chapter.
Madam, can you
Hello?
mute?
Can you hear me?
Madam, yeah, can you mute, please?
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Please proceed, doctor.
Hello?
Please proceed, doctor. We can hear you.
Sir,
Hello.
due
Yeah.
to signal issues, I closed the video, sir.
Okay, I will take care.
Over to Mr. Ram Kumar Singaram, sir. Yes, sir. Over to Mr. Ram Kumar Singaram, sir, to speak a few words about Public Relations Society of India, Chennai chapter, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Raja. Dr. Raja is our secretary. He works as an assistant professor in Satyabama University, Chennai. And myself, Ram Kumar Singaram. I run a PR agency called Catalyst PR in Chennai. And I am heading the Public Relations Society of India, Chennai chapter. What is PRSI and why we are conducting this webinar? PRSI was started in 1959 at Calcutta. In Chennai, it was started in 1969, one among the oldest chapters, oldest association in Chennai itself. So we are currently, to cut the story short, currently PRSI has got around 25 chapters across India, and we have got around 3,000 plus members in PRSI. In Chennai, we have got 115 members, and the profile of the members are mostly from PR agencies, advertising agencies, media houses, and a lot of professors from Viscom, Masscom departments, and students from Viscom, Masscom departments are members here. And a lot of people who retired from PR community and people who are working in PSUs, that is public sector units and corporates, all are members here. So we can able to proudly say that companies like TAFE, Indian Oil Corporation, Naval Lignite Corporation, Southern Railway, and a whole lot of other like ICF, like Satyabama University, MOP Vaishnav, Wales University, Dr. M.J. Janaki College. So we have got a lot of corporate members and individual members from known institutions and known corporates, particularly Apollo hospitals like that. So what we do in Chennai, every month we conduct an offline meeting at Hotel Savera in the evenings, either Friday or Saturday, one day in a month. And then we conduct 2 free webinars. Through webinars, we invite a lot of people from abroad or even various parts of India. So a lot of people across India participates in this live webinar. Today also I can see a lot of research people like doctorate, a lot of professors, like I can see a lot of names, doctors and students across India. I can see a lot of North Indian names, Andhra names, Kerala names, a lot of different names I can see. People can tell about them while they are asking their questions from which part. So a lot of people are regularly attending these conferences, and we are very much thankful to them. And so that's it about PRSI. And as I told you earlier, yes, people who are attending till the end of the session, we'll be giving you a e-certificate. So we'll be posting a feedback form at the end of the session, so you can fill in your details. So before tomorrow morning, you'll be receiving the e-certificate. Okay, so people who stay till end of the program alone can get the e-certificate. Okay, so now I warmly welcome Mr. Amit Prabhu, PR Access. He's a giant in this industry. He's a legend in this industry, who knows well versed about PR industry. So, and moreover, he knows all the people in PR industry. He has traveled nook and corner of the country and even other parts of the world. So he has got great contacts. The one person whom I most inspire in PR industry is Mr. Amit Prabhu. Amit Prabhu is from Karnataka. But he settled down in Mumbai. He has got an institute. He has got a wonderful event management company. So he trains a lot of people in this industry. So very good speaker, and he has got a lot of good speakers with him, a lot of good people with him. So he's one person who always think about PR, who always wants PR industry to grow to greater heights. So we are very happy for Mr. Amit Prabhu has agreed to participate in this meeting. He's currently in Mumbai. I hope he's settled in Mumbai, but I don't know currently where is he. But he's a man of words. Whatever he promises, he delivers. So such a very nice person, a vast, knowledgeable person about PR. So now this is small things which I know, but all other factual things which Mr. Amit Prabhu will open up himself. He will introduce himself and he will go to the topic of the House of PR. Sir, thank you very much for joining with us. Now the floor is open to you, Amit Prabhu, sir. Amit, sir.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ramkumar sir, and thank you all the PRCI Chennai chapter and others who have joined.
Sir,
He was telling,
PRSI, PRSI.
I said PRSI only. I didn't say PRCI. I'm careful about it. Yes, Public Relations
Yeah.
Society of India.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. So first of all, I'm honored. I'm grateful for all of you and Ram Kumar sir thinking of me to do this. I don't know if I'm worthy enough. He said I'm a great speaker. I don't know that, but I'll try my best in the next 40 minutes to do whatever I can. Like I said earlier on the chat, anybody having questions anytime, just put it in the chat box. I've kept an alarm on my phone for 7:25. At 7:25, I will try and wind up my talk to take questions for 10 to 12 minutes if possible. If you think it's required that I have to do a part two sometime in the next 15, 20 days before June 5th, I'm happy to do that also if we are not able to finish today. So we'll aim for finishing today, but I'm happy to always come back if you need to complete something that is not done today. I want to know, is it possible to change the setup to have all the photos and videos shown of those whose videos are on? Because I'm talking only to myself in the video. I would prefer to talk to everybody. Is it possible to do that, or this is not allowing that setting? I'm not forcing that idea, but yeah, if it's possible to
It
see
is
everybody, that
possible.
will be nice. Yes.
Yeah, it is possible, but it's purely their personal thing.
No, I'm not. Those whose
Okay.
videos are off, it's fine. Those whose videos are on, at least I
Yeah.
can see them because it looks like I'm talking to myself otherwise. Yeah.
Thank
So
you so
so
much.
let's
Yeah.
open the setup or grid where videos that are on can be seen. That's all I'm requesting for. So at least I feel I'm talking to two, three people or 10 people instead of only one person. Okay. I think there are 35 participants, so we'll start off. I like he said, yes, I actually live in Gurgaon, Haryana. I don't live in Mumbai, but I have a
Oh,
small setup in Mumbai. And I'm from a small town in Karnataka called Mangalore, which many of you would have maybe visited, seen, been to. That's my base, but I chose 15 years back to make Haryana Gurgaon my base for some other reasons. I'll dive straight into the house of PR. But 10, 12 years ago, I had decided that I want to give back after spending about 10, 12 years in PR to the profession. And I felt one thing to do was to open an academy of PR, which happened to be in Mumbai. And a lot of parents of young graduates would come to me and my team to ask us about what a PR career looks like. In order to make them understand PR in a simple word, I created this concept. I grew up in a small home, independent house, not an apartment in Mangalore. So I got inspired by that home I grew up in. And it was not a huge home, it was a one level home. But I said, my neighbors had a two level ground floor and first floor home, which I had memories of. And I said, let me use the different rooms in that house to park various concepts of public relations to explain to people what PR is. So I call this the house of PR because it is modeled around a 3 bedroom house. In any town in India or anywhere in the world, and I parked words there. So I and when I do this in a non-Zoom method in a physical environment, I usually do it for 1.5, 2 hours, where I ask a lot of questions to get answers from the audience. I don't think we have that scope today, so it'll be a monologue for a large part of the time, and then we'll do questions. Somebody is saying something, no problem.
અહીંયા ચાલુ જ છે આ પુરાવા છે ને રોજ અંદર છે ને યુસેજ એટલે હોય છે હાઈવે
Please,
વાળામાં કોઈ
hello,
નથી
can you mute yourself, or otherwise we will mute again?
Yeah.
Amit ji can unmute them. Unmute again yourself.
Yeah, you as a
Yeah.
host, you can mute everybody, and I can unmute myself, no problem.
Yeah.
If this happens again, we'll manage. Don't worry. Okay.
So you're
Yeah,
not
all of us
audible.
have seen house constructions happen. Many of us in this call have built our own houses or seen our families build houses. And the core to any construction work is a foundation being laid. And even in the world of PR, and I've always believed for 20 plus years now that PR in the sense of what we do is a synonym for reputation management. Reputation management is all about behavior, how brands behave, how people behind a brand behave, and how the world perceives that brand based on the behavior of the brand and the people behind that brand. So the foundation of PR or the foundation of reputation management, I have always believed, is equal to the foundation of any construction work that we have built in our lives. So typically we see concrete, we see cement, we see water, and we see some amount of wood being used, right? We have seen wood and steel being used to create those pillars with concrete, cement, water to build a house. There are four key ingredients. Cement and concrete is similar in some form. There is water, wood, steel. In the same way, in the house of PR, the foundation of PR is 4 C's. And if somebody wants to write down these notes on the chat box, you can write down these notes. The 4 C's in no specific order are communications, campaign, culture. These are three very, very common C's. So communication, everything we do in PR, a large amount of PR and behavior is based on communication. There is a lot of campaigns that happen, and I think good PR without campaigns usually doesn't happen. There is an amount of culture, and we see how that culture has formed a basis to a lot of PR work that has happened over the years. A lot of companies are perceived to be good or bad based on the culture they emulate, and a lot of all that happens through work in the community. Communities can be of different kinds. So the foundation of PR is based on how a brand or an organization operates using communication, culture, campaigns, and with the community. And with one of these missing will not help us do a proper PR program at all. So all these are equally important. Sometimes some PR programs happen without one of these, but communications, campaigns, and culture are core to PR. And we perceive brands, and most of you are in Tamil Nadu right now, and you saw a new government taking shape in the last few days. A person who until 2 or 3 years back no one imagined would lead the state, suddenly from nowhere, based on communications, using the power of social media, using interesting cultural ethos, saying, okay, we are new, we are different, we're not like the parties that have run this state for so many decades. An entire new movement began, and to many people's surprise, entire new regime took shape in your state. And I think the magic behind that, I believe, was the power of PR. Maybe we can debate that now or later. That is the foundation of PR. So the three core parts, I said four, but three core are community, culture, campaign, and communication. The foundation has to have these, and the strong foundation with these four helps build a PR program better. And in any house, most of you have lived, built, seen houses, and I'm not talking of apartments. I'm saying house on purpose because houses have a ground floor access. Apartments can be on any floor of the building. As we enter, there are two. Usually, houses have two doors. Most houses have a front door or a main door where the family enters the house, the guests enter the house, but there are houses which have a back door also, which usually goes to the kitchen of the house. And that idea over centuries was created because a lot of times people went to the market, went to the shop, brought in raw material, bought in vegetables, bought in fish, meat that came to the house from the back door, because sometimes it came in not so clean bags, it came with some water dripping. So the houses didn't want to use the front entrance to get that, they would use the back entrance. So and the kitchen. So I use that example saying, think of a house with two doors, a front door and a back door, and one leading to the living room, one leading to the kitchen. And then there are two more rooms in that house in the ground floor. One is a dining room, an extra room. It can be a guest room or a study room or a sit out or whatever else. So keep these four rooms in your mind as I talk of the next four words that also build PR. So, and these are the essentials for PR. And if somebody says, what does PR entail? These four that come up next is what PR entails. The first four were the foundations of all PR. And then what do we do in PR? These four. So I say 50% of PR is equal to 50% of our awake time spent in a house. So somebody in the house, whether it's the man of the house, the woman of the house, a house help, or a grandparent, or an uncle or aunt, they spend morning time, afternoon time, and night time typically cooking in the kitchen. And all of you who have cooked in your life, you know a lot of it goes into cooking. You get the produce, you either keep it in the refrigerator or keep it ready, you chop it, slice it, dice it, Then you go through a cooking process. Once it's cooked, typically people serve it with the same dish or lay it out in a nice dish in a very decorative manner with a salad or vegetable, and then serve it to the family which eats in the dining room. So similar in PR, a lot of PR is about content. I mean, and we know that the basis of PR was a press release, right? 100 years back when PR was formulated as a career, the basis was based on a press release, and today PR has evolved to many things. And the press release was the content which gave a narrative, a shape to a message that an organization wanted to give to its audience, to its stakeholders. So same is the kitchen. The kitchen is the place where various things come together to prepare a dish. A press release in the world of PR is like the same dish which somebody consumes. And then the dish is served on the dining table. So I say there are 4 C's again in the first ground floor of the house with the 4 rooms. There is a kitchen where dishes are prepared, and in the world of PR it is content. So 50% of good PR is about that content being solid, the content being rich, the content being based on research, the content being very, very well articulated. The moment the content is not articulated well, the brand will or can face problems as well. Now I'll go to the front 3 rooms, the living room. I say the living room is where the family sits and has conversations. When guests come home, there are conversations that happen, and a lot of discussions happen as well. And yes, discussions also happen intimately on the dining table. So I say the content that is created is then taken to the stakeholders. Connecting it to stakeholders happen. And I've always believed there are 3 kinds of stakeholder. There is a primary stakeholder, which is employees and customers. There's a secondary stakeholder, which is everybody else who is not an employer, not a customer. It could be shareholders, could be the community around which we live, could be suppliers, could be vendors, could be other partners. And the third group, I don't call them a stakeholder, I call them a special interest group. Sometimes we call them stakeholders, is traditionally been the media. And in the last 5 to 10 years, thanks to the digital onslaught, it has been the influencers as well. Typically, the media editors, reporters were considered the only influencers for a brand, who were typically not paid for. But in the last 5-10 years, influencers, bloggers, people with high visibility on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook have also been roped in by brands to use their reach, their power to send a message to a wider variety of potential existing customers and employees as well. So I say the kitchen is the content equivalent content. The dining table where we pass that food and savor it together is the connect equivalent. So there is a content which is 50% of PR. There is 25% of PR which is the connect. Okay, so 75% of PR is these 2 things. Then the third and fourth room, which I mentioned earlier, are the living room and a sit out where sometimes they are used, is crisis management and counsel. So the 4 C's, the first C I said was content, second was connect, third was crisis, and fourth was counsel, COUNSEL. A lot of us as senior or mid-level PR professionals have been called, if you worked within an organization, our bosses would call us chairman, MDs or CEOs. If you worked in a PR consultancy or agency, and then our client would call us to give them advice and counsel. And typically our counsel was on behavior. How does a brand spokesperson or a brand leader behave in front of a journalist? And behave also means what do they communicate? And the C, the third C, which I mentioned, is crisis. Good brands, good organizations prepare for a crisis. And when a crisis hits them, the preparation that they've done over the months, years, comes in good stead to help them do well. If there's no crisis happening, the first 2 rooms, the kitchen, dining room, takes prominence. So content is created, good content is created, and the content is served to various stakeholders that I just now mentioned about. But the moment a crisis hits a brand, which many brands face from time to time, then the first 2, the content and connect, happens, but it happens in a very, very specific pointed banner using the crisis preparedness action points that a brand has to deal with a crisis. And counsel, which I mentioned just now, is an ongoing thing. So if somebody asks, and this whole talk is to help you all use these to convince more people in your circles, in your families, in your neighborhood to embrace PR as a career, as a profession, using these 20 words that I'm going to talk about between 6:45 today and 7:15, 7:20 as well. So the critical 8 words that I've covered out of 20 are the foundation, which I mentioned earlier. I'll bring them up later on. The first, the ground floor of the house, which has 4 rooms, the content, connecting their content to stakeholders, preparing for crisis, and being a counselor of repute, a counselor who advises, guides brands and companies to do the right thing all the time. Because again, my belief has been that PR, like I said earlier, is 90% behavior and 10% how we communicate that behavior to our stakeholders. So a lot of times people forget that PR is about behavior, and people remember a brand, a company, a person only because of the way it behaved or has behaved in its lifetime. Then we have done with the ground floor. I'm quickly using the staircase of the house to go to the 3 bedrooms on the first floor. So we use a staircase, we climb up. There are 3 bedrooms. So typically a house has a master bedroom where the man and woman of the house use and live. There is a children's room in many houses where there'll be either 1 child or 2 children or sometimes more. And there's a 3rd room. In some houses, the grandparents live there. In some houses, the grandparents may live on their own, and therefore that 3rd room is used as a guest room when we have guests coming in, some family members, some cousins, some friends who come in. But the most common used in nuclear families these days is the first 2 rooms, the master bedroom and the children's room. In PR as well, what happens in the master bedroom? What do parents usually do? Usually parents are all the time strategizing. The master bedroom is called the room of strategy because parents are thinking, how do we save more money? How do we plan better education for our children? How do we invest in the next best mutual fund, which is the next best car we buy for the family? So parents are all the time, when they're not sleeping and when they're chatting, they're usually strategizing. And many of you as parents, many of you who have parents, many of you maybe parents will know that once the marriage is over, the honeymoon is over, we're always strategizing for a better life in our 30s, 40s, 50s to plan for retirement. So in PR as well, I call it, after we do the basic 4 content, connecting with stakeholders, crisis and counsel, we do a lot of strategies. How does the brand become stronger in its segment? How does the brand become a more powerful and robust brand in its category? So strategy is a big part of PR, and strategy is nothing but thinking for the brand to do better. And again, these words I used earlier. I used campaign and foundation. I used strategy. They come from ancient war. They come from Roman civilization. They come from various civilizations where strategy was a major part of annexing kingdoms and of war. Even the word campaign itself comes from a region in Italy called Campania, where young soldiers practiced war in order to win and annex kingdoms nearby to make their kings and their leaders more powerful. We'll come to that later if we need to. And then what happens in the children's bedroom typically? If the children are not studying or not sleeping, the thing that happens in the children's room, which is linked to communication, is storytelling. In most houses, children from the age of 3, 4 until they're 11, 12, listen to their parents or grandparents or older siblings telling them stories. So I use these 2 keywords in the first floor of the house, strategizing or strategy and storytelling, as cornerstones or key to public relations. I think all good PR is built on good strategy and great storytelling. So the way to remember these 2 words are: the master bedroom is strategy and the children's room is storytelling. The 3rd room, which I said could be the grandparents, could be some family members who come visiting as a guest room. What happens in a guest room in a house typically? It's either not used, that means it's not always occupied, or it's occupied during holidays, during festive seasons, during some celebration in the house. And when that room is occupied, typically on an on and off basis, there is an extra spend in the house, and we spend that money willingly and happily. So when we have guests, we order better food. When we have guests, we take them out to show them our city. When we have guests, we do things with them that we don't typically do: go to a museum, go to a cinema hall, that otherwise we do only in a sporadic manner. And all of you would agree, when a guest comes home, we happily, lovingly, willingly spend extra money, extra time to make that guest feel special. Unless it's a guest we didn't invite and they force themselves on us, which rarely can happen. And in the world of PR also, I call this 3rd room the room of 3 pillars or 3 eyes. The eyes of innovation, impact, and influence. And all PR is typically earned. All PR is typically comes your way without paying extra money for it. The only money paid is to the consultant for his or her time, or to an employee in the Corpcom department as a salary. But most PR is earned. It's free, unlike advertising or events where you spend money on doing things. There's no spend. But these 3 eyes, and if I said it's a room where some spend happens when a guest comes in, innovation, impact, and influence has a spend. So if brands can't afford it or don't want to afford it, they can leave it out. It's like not calling any guests home because you can't afford to host them. But if a brand can afford it, then you use and deploy these three I's, and I'll explain what these three I's are. Innovation, the best example for innovation in PR happened 35, 40 years ago. In the early 80s, two car companies in the US, two automobile companies, General Motors and Ford, were the only big companies. Every American owned either a GM car or a Ford car. The Koreans and the Japanese, Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, Honda, they saw an opportunity. They felt that America is a market where there is a scope for a slightly cheaper car than what Ford and GM offers. And we, Koreans and Japanese, and they didn't think together, they thought one at a time, have a scope to enter that market. Till then, there were no Hyundais and Hondas and Toyotas and Kias in the US. They began by inviting some smart journalists from some of the leading newspapers, from Chicago Tribune, from Washington Post, and others, to fly to Korea and to Japan at the company's cost to experience what the plants do, how they manufacture, and show them the real high quality of these cars they were producing. These journalists went back and wrote stories of their experiences in these car factories that they're invited to, with a disclaimer at the bottom saying the story is written based on an invitation by Honda or Kia or Hyundai, and it led to something that we are very familiar with today called the FAM trip or the familiarization trip. That was the innovation in PR in the 80s, where Korean, Japanese companies invited journalists who covered business, covered automobiles from the US to write stories, and that's how the entry, and people read the stories and said, oh, we want these cars. The governments of the day said we'll open up our markets to allow these Japanese and Korean cars to come to the country. And today, America has more Toyotas, Hondas, Kias, and Hyundais than they have General Motors and Ford cars. And all that happened because of a PR idea in the early 80s that led to the birth of FAM trips, or familiarization trips. And today we see that happening all the time around the world for multiple industries, not just cars. That's innovation in PR. Impact is a simple term, but impact means anything a brand does to give back through people's time, give back through volunteering, give back through money. We call it CSR sometimes, we call it social impact, we call it ESG, we call it corporate philanthropy. But all things that a brand does in order to help stakeholders, communities, by putting in time or money is impact it makes. And they do it for two reasons. One is brands genuinely believe, or the brand leaders, chairpersons genuinely believe we should do that to give back. That is one reason. The second reason they may do it is in order to get benefit from it in the future. So a lot of times brands do CSR because they know a journalist or an editor or reporter will cover that story and make the brand look good in the eyes of its stakeholders. So there are both benefits. One is just doing it out of genuine belief. One is doing it to cash on it and benefit from it in the future. Both are okay, depending on why and how it's done. And the influence word, again, traditionally in the 70s, 80s, many brands began to engage cricketers and film stars commonly. And now we have different kinds of people who were paid some money and asked to endorse the brand on TV or radio or newspapers. That began a culture of brand ambassadors. Today, we have all kinds of brand ambassadors and brand advocates. We also have Instagram influencers. Like I have a bunch of friends who get called from brands for a small amount of 30,000, 40,000 to put a reel, to put a post. And many of you working in PR here are familiar with that. And there's a cost. So when a PR team spends on influencers or brand ambassadors, there is a cost to it. When you spend on innovation, flying somebody to a plant or to a factory, there is a cost on it. When you give money to society, to causes or NGOs, there is a cost. So this is the part of PR which has a cost. If brands don't deploy these three, then there is no cost here. You can still survive with strategy and storytelling, which is the core of PR. All these three bedrooms I talked of, I'm going back to the house, have three balconies in no specific order. I call them the balconies of REM. While PR can happen without these three, good PR cannot happen without these three. REM, I call them the balconies, because the balcony is a very interesting place on the first floor. A family or a couple or a child goes to the balcony. Typically, today's time, our country is very polluted, but back in the day, you went to the balcony to enjoy fresh air. You went to the balcony to gaze at the stars. You went to the balcony to look at the birds flying in the evening at sunset. So, balcony was a very interesting place. It was not, it has a wall, it still gave you some openness to look down, maybe talk to a neighbor from the balcony, and many of you do that, or to look up and just enjoy nature, right? So, I say a house can survive without a balcony, but a balcony has its own charm, and it's important if somebody lives in a place which has options of looking at nature. So I call it the balconies of REM. And these three words stand for research, ethics, and measurement. PR can happen without research. Sometimes PR happens without ethics, and I call it spin or just propaganda, which is not PR, because all good PR should happen with ethics at the core. And all good PR that we deploy should happen with a scope for measurement. We have to be able to measure whether the efforts put into PR were worth it or not. Some people don't measure, they don't care. They say, okay, I have sent a press release. If somebody carries it, great. Somebody doesn't carry it too bad, and live with it. But there are people who measure how many press releases, how many were picked up by how many publications, was it positive, was it negative, what was the share of voice, and things like that happen as well. That's measurement from a media relations point of view. So the three balconies have research in one, ethics in one, measurement in the other. I mean, you can link them. I mean, all strategy comes from research. All storytelling has to come with ethics. You can't lie to stakeholders. So being honest and truthful is critical. And this part, innovation, impact, and influence, has a lot of measurement to it. And measurement can be also deployed to other parts of what we do. Then I'm almost coming to the end of my talk to keep it open for questions. If not, I'll come back to share more thoughts as well. Then we climb up to the floor above the roof, above the first floor, which has a terrace, and I call it the five-pointed terrace. And why I call it the five-pointed terrace? Because after doing PR for 20 years, and many of you have done PR for much longer, why do we do PR? Why does a company deploy PR? It's just not for getting some coverage in newspapers. That is the traditional way of looking at it. But if you look at it from a deeper lens, PR is done for many reasons, and you can funnel them into five very, very straightforward concepts. So PR, or effort we put into PR, is done. I call it the great reason to do PR, GREAT. PR is done to attain goodwill. A lot of brands do PR to attain goodwill, and we'll talk of these for a few seconds. PR is done to to get more respect. That's the R. PR is done to create engagement. Brands want to engage with the audiences. PR is done for brands to get something as simple as affinity or likability, or the more high-end word of affinity is admiration. Brands want to be admired by people. And the most important is the T. I'm sure you guessed it by now. T is brands do PR to earn trust. So GREAT. So all PR that we do has to be centered around achieving one of these or all these five objectives. Either is the brand getting goodwill? Yes or no. If the answer is no, then don't do it. Is the brand getting more respect? Then do it. If not, don't do it. Is the brand engaging or getting engagement with audiences? If yes, do it. If not, don't do it. Is the brand getting more admiration or more affinity? Affinity is nothing but likability by an audience. If the answer is yes, then do it. If not, don't do it. And is the brand increasing its trust among stakeholders? If the answer is yes, there's more trust being coming your way, then do it. And if not, don't do it. So this is my sense of PR. If some of you feel no, there is more to it than just these five, let me know. Happy to learn, happy to add to this. So far we have covered. We've covered almost 19 concepts. I'm going to bring them out one by one, but I'm going to take a 1 minute break to check with any of you here if you have any. I'm just going to chat box for a moment to see if there are any questions that have been put in the chat box or in any Q&A. So I don't miss 1 second. I can see some chats here. 1 second. Ashish Gupta and Sasi Mallar are very useful. That's nice of you. But I'm hoping and looking forward to any questions so far. If not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these words in the chat box to capture the essence of these 20 words. I'm going to start with campaign. Sure. Then we said Content Connect Crisis Council. Then we said we went to the bedroom. Strategy, storytelling, impact plus innovation plus influence. Then we had the three balconies of research, ethics, measurement. Then we said we'll go up to the terrace, 5-point terrace. Why do we do PR? We spoke of goodwill, respect, affinity. You can interchange affinity with admiration as well. Engagement, which should have come. Sorry, I'll type engagement first. And trust. Forgive me if I'm making some typos. I'm not using my specs. So if you have noticed so far, these words have come out here. Almost 21 words. The ultimate goal of PR, I'm going to say that and then take another break to ask you questions and then recap this. The ultimate goal of PR is something why we do. And very often we forget why we do PR. We think, oh, we're doing PR because we want coverage. And that's what's happened over the years. So when I would meet parents of young 19, 20, 21-year-olds who wanted their children to get into PR but had no clue, this entire 20 concepts told to them either in a slow fashion or a fast fashion would help them understand, saying, oh, and then they would ask, so therefore, what will my child do? What will my son or daughter do when she is 23 years old? And the answer would go to the 4 rooms in the ground floor. They would do content. They would use that content to connect it to stakeholders. And who are the stakeholders? Customers and employees, everybody else, and then media and influencers. They would help prepare crisis plans for their brands. And then they would counsel and advise their clients or their bosses on what is the right way to do or say certain thing. And then parents say, wow, I'm glad to know my son or daughter at the age of 24, 25 will be doing such things. And I give my consent to them to get into a PR profession, and things would change. And therefore, hundreds of youngsters in the last 10, 12 years have got into PR because I've been able to, in a small way, influence them and their parents with this story. So coming back to the last ultimate goal, so I say, when I grew up again in Mangalore, which many of you are familiar with, we didn't have Google Maps. We didn't have mobile phones. So we had landlines at home in the mid 80s to late 80s. And most of our houses, if you remember, we always had water problems in the south, in Karnataka and Mangalore. We still have, I think. I don't have that in Gurgaon. And we always had water tanks. We had a Syntex water tank of black or white color, depending on our house terrace on top. And so if somebody came to visit us, they would call us from a landline from somebody else's house. We would say, welcome home. Take the first slide left after this circle. Then you will see a movie theater. From there, you take the second right, and the third house on the lane below, you will see a black Syntex tank. That is my house. So that's how we give directions to people. Houses would have had name. Today, we don't say, we just give them a pin. They follow the Google Maps and people reach our house in 20 minutes, right? That's how it is. But earlier, 30 years back, many of you in this call who are youngsters won't believe it, that there was no Google Maps. The only way to ask someone to come home was to give them directions precisely, give them a landmark, and they would reach your house. So in this house of PR also, I see the water tank, which is a landmark, which is the ultimate goal for somebody doing PR, is what? And this is a word we use in religion. This is a word we use in our daily life. This is a word we use with family. We can interchange the word, but the ultimate goal of PR is to create belief in people. I would say to create credibility among the minds of people who you want to be either your employees or your customers or your brand advocates or ambassadors. So the ultimate goal of PR is the C word. I've used C many times here, which is credibility, or a simpler way of understanding credibility is to create belief in the mind. So all the content we create, all the connections we make, all the crisis plans we develop, all the counsel we give, ultimately is in order to make people believe in something that is good. And then the question of ethics comes. There are times people's brains are used to also tell the world that something that is absolutely not good is good. And then there's an ethical issue there. Give me 1 second. Somebody's trying to call me. I'll just tell them, can you call me in half an hour, please? आधा घंटे के बाद कॉल करो, मैं एक मीटिंग में हूँ, आधा घंटे के बाद प्लीज। 7:45 बाय। Okay, sorry. So this is the house of PR. I think when we began discussing this topic 2 months back, there was a little concern. I said I will try my best to use 20 concepts to tell this community, this group, what PR entails. I'm sure all of you use these words, all of you are familiar with these words, but the idea was to use a technique to bring to the fore these 2021 words that helps you understand PR in a new way and helps you convey this whole idea of PR to people who you are able to influence. Because I'm a big fan of the PR profession. I feel it's one of the very important professions in this world, because in a world of disinformation, in a world of AI taking charge, human PR and human beings telling stories and acting genuinely will benefit humankind, will benefit brands in the future. And I see that happening. We are at 7:15 right now. I can go on for another 10-15 minutes easily, but I want to be mindful and ask people to ask me questions if you have. If there's no question, no problem. I'll still go on with more. But this was the crux of the house of PR, and I put most of the keywords on the chat box for those who came in late or those who missed out gathering these thoughts from me. I'll take another 1 minute break to let Ramkumar sir, or I see another gentleman whose name is not here. It says Xiaomi 23. If there are any questions from any of you, please ask me.
It's a wonderful session. It's a great session. You kept a single word house and you developed the total concept. It's wonderful. Friends, now it's open. You can ask your question. Either you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question, or you can put it in the chat box. Mr. Amit Prabhu will answer this.
And if there
It's
are
a
no
wonderful-
questions in the next 2 minutes, I'll go on talking about two more concepts from these 20 for another 10-12 minutes to just leave behind some thoughts that will be helpful for you. But I'll wait for a couple of minutes for questions. If not, I'll continue. There's no problem.
See, meeting with Amit Prabhu, getting him online is really tough, difficult. Most of the
You can
time,
get me anytime you want to. Every evening, 6 o'clock, I'm free. Tell me one day in advance, I'll come. I am not tough. Don't say that.
most of the time he's traveling. Yeah, please go ahead. Hello.
Yeah, Aparna Rajan says one of the most important aspects of PR is response, which is interesting. So my question to Aparna is there a question? Are you making a comment, or do you want me to build on the word response?
No, it's just an observation, sir. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. So, like I said, the foundation of PR has communication at its core, and communication is just not one way. Communication is two ways. So when somebody communicates, there is response expected, and your word response is absolutely relevant. And it comes under communication, so I didn't say it separately, but yes, thank you for that intervention. I also use another word as part of communications that happens at the foundation, which is relevancy. I didn't use it here, but all communications have to have its own rules. Yes, getting a response is important. Making it multiple ways and not just one way is important. Making it relevant is important. Communicating something that is 25 years old is no use. So it has to be relevant as well. Absolutely. If there are no questions, and questions can come even after 3-4 minutes, I'll talk about my favorite word in these 20 words, and what separates PR from everything else is ethics, because PR is very fluid. PR is very subjective. It's one human being with support from 3-4 human beings who writes the press release typically, right? Unlike advertising, where the ad goes through multiple iterations. There's a copywriter, there's a artist, there's a creative person doing a rendition of that ad. Then it goes to account planning. There are multiple in PR typically, and I don't know now. I have not been actively in PR for the last 7-8 years, but before 2019, when I was active in PR for 15 years, one person, either the client side or the consultant side, wrote a press release. It went to one more person. They checked the grammar, spelling, and the facts in it, and the press release went out to the media. Typically, it was 2-3 human beings who saw a press release, and the companies trusted these people, believed in these people to do a good job. Fair. But today, in the world of AI, in the world of ethics being damned, a lot of things happen that are not right. Yes, the good thing is human beings are still smart, alert, and so far smarter than AI in some way. We're able to quickly pick up things that are not true, and there are enough AI tools today to catch people who are doing wrong. Like, as a person who teaches students, there are enough of apps and tools today to catch plagiarism. A lot of students think the easiest way out is to copy paste some article and produce it as their content, but there are multiple apps. You just put a Word document with the content. It will show you how much percentage of that was copied and how much is genuine, right? So I'm going to focus on my favorite balcony, the balcony of the children's room, which is the balcony of ethics. I was about, I'm 46 years old now. So almost 30 years ago, when I was in class 10 or 11, 16, 17 years old, I was fortunate to listen to a lecture by a gentleman. I don't remember his first name. He was a Parsi gentleman. His surname was Katpitia. I know his daughter from Mangalore. Her name is Veera Katpitia. And I use this story in many of my PR exchange is like this. He came to my college campus in Mangalore to give there was a monthly lecture series. And he said, my daughter, my grandchildren always keep asking me how to be ethical, how to differentiate between right and wrong. And he left 4 words in that talk of his. And those 4 words are something I always have used over the last 30 years when I talk to people. He said, I told my children as they grew up to ask 4 questions when doing something if they had a doubt whether it was right or wrong. And these 4 questions have helped them do the right thing. And I know because I know his daughter who's in her 60s now, or maybe early 70s, and his grandchildren who are my age. He said, I asked them to ask themselves this question. Am I doing something that is harmful to my body or somebody else's body? I mean, is there going to be bodily harm? Is somebody's body going to be in danger because something I do, whether it's jumping 5 steps, whether it's trying to run fast on a road which has vehicular traffic or whatever else. So the question to ask is it harmful? Harmful is typically to somebody's body. Will that person's body be harmed? Will that person's body get injured if you do something? The answer is no, then you can do it. If the answer is yes, then don't do it. Second question he said is, and this is to help understand ethics. Am I doing something that is against society? And the easiest phrase for that is, am I doing something that's anti-social? If the answer is even yes to one person, then don't do it. And we know what it is in the world, right? What is anti-social? So do everything that is good for society. Then he said, morals and lack of them. Am I doing something that I would be ashamed of in the future? I wouldn't like my own family member doing. Moral, is it immoral or moral? And there are multiple layers to it. If the answer is yes, what I'm doing is somewhere immoral, then don't do it. If you think no, morally it is fine to do, then go ahead and do it. And the 4th thing he said was law. Many of us are not familiar with laws of the land. We do things believing it's okay to do, but sometimes we get caught and we say, oh, I did not know the law. But that's not an excuse, right? Ignorance of law is never an excuse. So am I doing something that I feel is somewhere illegal? If the answer is yes, then don't do it. If you feel no, what you're doing is 100+% legal, then do it. So the question to ask is it harmful? Is it immoral? Is it antisocial? Is it illegal? If the answer is yes to any of the 4, don't do it. So when you all work in PR, either for yourselves, for the brands you work with, or as consultants for your clients, the question to ask is these 4. If the answer is yes to any, then don't do it. So advise your clients as well. I mean, because ethics is a very difficult concept to fathom. Ethics is a very complex word. It's very simple to say, to spell it, but ethics can be different things to different people. Some people will say, no, I will go ahead and write a bad post against this brand because they troubled me. Fine. Maybe it is fine for that person. Somebody else may think it's unethical because you work for a brand which is competing with that brand. And these things come to the fore at some point of time. So I'll leave that as an idea, as a thought as a layer. I see a comment from Anusha here as I complete this thought. Good evening, sir. Can PR sense of credibility can work well in this all digital world? Don't you feel you are threatened by this new innovation? Sorry, on AI. Good evening, sir. Can PR sense of credibility can work well in this AI directed world? Don't you feel you are threatened by this? So if you're asking me, am I feeling threatened? I'm not. If you're asking it in general, yes, there are some people who feel threatened by the advent or the onset of AI. I just want to say something that every 10 years, the world has seen an innovation that threatened something or the other. If we rode that innovation, and innovation is like a wave we see, and all of you in Chennai, you may go to the beach, you see waves on the seashore. Either you run away from that wave, which is fine, you miss the fun, or you ride that wave, which means you're good at surfing maybe, and you're able to succeed, you're able to enjoy that. So I feel we should be able to ride the AI wave well. There are only 2 ways to ride the AI wave. Either we jump into it, or we read, prepare, learn to jump into it. We can't escape it. if you are 55, 60 years and above and you're about to retire, it's okay. But anybody who is less than 55 and wants to work for 5 more years, or less than 50, definitely, you should try and embrace AI. Don't let AI threaten you. Don't let AI scare you. Don't let AI take away your job. We saw it in the 90s when the mobile phones came in. People said, "Oh my God, mobile phones are coming in." That will be a big danger, because physical meetings will be reduced drastically. We can connect with anybody with the mobile phone, but life didn't change. Some people lost their jobs who didn't want to embrace the mobile phone culture. They said, "I will wait for physical meetings." And then we saw social media and the internet boom in a big way in the 2000s. We saw laptops boom. Like, I know a couple of big PR firms 6 years back didn't believe in laptops. They said, "No, my colleagues will only use desktops." It's 7:25, we have 5 minutes to go. But suddenly in February, March of 2020, these companies sense something is wrong in the world. They began to see people wearing masks. They began to see people being quarantined. They began to see a new kind of health disorder taking charge of the world. And overnight, I know at least 3 PR firms in Bombay, Delhi, who overnight in February used all their profit to buy laptops for all employees, because they knew something was coming. And right enough, on March 20th, 2020, we saw the first Janata curfew, we saw the first mini lockdown, we saw a major lockdown, and companies who rode that wave and bought laptops overnight, which they were resisting until that time, managed to get hundreds and thousands of people to work from home. A lot of people I know in companies couldn't afford them. They made their IT people in the middle of lockdown carry desktops from the office to the home of people and install them. It has happened to help people work from home, and they found it very difficult. So to Anusha's question, yes, if we don't ride the AI wave, and the only way to ride it is to embrace it, to learn it, to use it smartly, we will get consumed by it and we'll get drowned by it. But I'm not the right person to give this advice, because I'm the only PR person I know in the 40s. I have not used till today, and I told this to Ramkumar sir, I think in Sri Lanka, we met 2 months back. I have not used Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT until today. And I'm not used only because I'm trying to see how long I can survive without it. I'm already feeling in the next 3-4 months, by August, September, I'll have to start using it, because it is a wave or a tsunami that is hitting. But I've resisted it for the last 2 years, but I don't think I can do it for long. So those of you who have opportunities to learn more about Claude and ChatGPT and whatever else there is that can help you do your work better, do it. I was talking to a very senior Corpcom person in Delhi, Gurgaon yesterday, and I shared this part with him. He said very interesting thing. He said, in the past, if we did a creative or a small document that went public, we had to get 6-7 people to sign off, because whether the brand guidelines were being met, whether the corporate guidelines were being met, and other things. Today we have tools developed. We just put that content in the tool. The tool will point out what is wrong. So 95% of the work is done. Instead of going to 7 people for sign off, we go to 1 person to sign off, and he knows or she knows that the AI tool has been deployed on this work of art or whatever it is, and he says, okay, the brand guidelines are there, the logo is right, the colors are right, and go ahead. So that's one. So to Anusha's question, I don't think we should feel threatened if we are able to ride it. We should completely feel dead if we are not able to ride it, because AI will consume us and many people will lose jobs. Yes, there'll be a big threat to entry-level jobs, but if companies don't involve entry-level people, because AI is right now being built to take away the basics of what PR people did, a junior executive, a management trainee, entry-level associate, their job AI is doing well. So account managers, account writers are still okay. There'll be a time that AI will take away. So new careers will emerge. There'll be new options in the future. But I believe for the next 2-3 years, if we can ride the wave, we'll be safe. If we don't ride the wave, those who don't ride the wave will not be safe. That's the long and short. So I will leave that answer at that level, Anusha, for now. If there's any more other questions, please ask me. I see Jani Dilip saying feedback link. I think that is to Ramkumar sir to give some feedback on my topic. Yeah, you're welcome.
Actually,
Anusha.
feedback link is for certificates. Okay, we'll be posting once the meeting is over. Any more questions?
Yeah, we have 2-3 minutes. We can take a couple of more
Yeah.
questions.
You can also unmute and you can introduce yourself and you can ask the questions.
Yes. So I put a link on the chat box of an event I organized, and we did the edition, I think 7th and 8th. I'm sorry, now we're on 13 this year. So 9th edition or 10th edition took place in Chennai. I run a conference for about 600 PR people every September called Praxis. It happens in the south, the west, and the north in a cyclical fashion. So last year it was in the north, in Uttarakhand and Dehradun. This year we're going back to the south. Next year it will be in the west again. So all of you in this call are welcome to come to Praxis. Praxis is happening in Cochin this year in Kerala, not too far from Chennai. We've never repeated a single location in 13 years, and we hope at least for the next 2 years not to repeat locations. Then we'll figure out life. So it's gone to every Indian, South Indian state over the last 10 years. We've done Tamil Nadu with Chennai. First one was in Pondicherry. Then we've done Mysore in Karnataka. We have done Hyderabad in Telangana. So now we're going to Cochin in Kerala for the first time. So you can go to the link I've put. It's praxisonline.in to see details, register, sign up. It's the biggest gathering of PR people in India every year, a residential event. So you come on a Friday afternoon for lunch and leave after breakfast on a Sunday morning. So all of you are welcome to that. It's a slightly expensive event, no doubt, but if you can make a recurring deposit from May 16th, by September 16th, you'll have enough money to pay for it. Yeah. Any other questions? Anybody else wants to unmute and ask? Please ask. I see Mr. VSR Naidu. Thank you for your video answer.
Oh,
You want
Namaskar,
to?
Namaskar. I'm sorry.
Namaskar.
I missed you hearing because I had a problem and I'm
No,
traveling
no.
as a matter of
Next
fact.
Tuesday evening at 6:30, you want to set up a Zoom call for me? I'll do a 1 hour exclusive for you. No problem.
Yeah, thank you very much. Because
you can
there
take-
is no meaning asking you anything because I could
You
not
can ask
hear
me
you.
anything. I'll try.
But I am also a PR professional.
I
And
know.
I love the profession and love the professionals. And the
Thanks
way
to-
you spoke for the last few minutes, I heard you. And really very impactful, very meaningful. And I really feel I missed you. And I apologize to Ram Kumar,
No,
chairman.
no. I
And
think it's
also
recorded,
Raja,
so he
Dr.
can share the
Raja.
recording with you also. You can see it on recording. It's
That
on
I will do.
YouTube also.
That I will do.
And I
Thank
put
you
my
very much.
email address here. If you send me an email from your email address, I will set up in your
Yeah.
calendar a link next 6:30 next
Obliged,
Tuesday evening.
obliged, very
I
much
will repeat it
obliged.
for you. No problem.
Right. Thank you very much. Very nice.
19th of May. Thank you. Anything else? Others, we have 1 more minute or we can end. I will say my vote of thanks. Thank you to the 30, 40, 49 PRSI people I can see now. I think there were maybe more at some point of time. I didn't pay attention to the number. I told Ramkumar sir, even there are two people, me and one more person, I'm happy to do it. I don't have to. He was worried there'll be a 70 signing up and 40 will attend. I said, I have no problem with do this. So I told Mr. Naidu just now, if only he wants to attend on 19th evening, 6:30, I'll set it up for him. No problem at all. But thank you very much to all of you. I hope to meet you in person in the future. If I ever come to Chennai, which I come once a year, I guess I will let Ramkumar sir know and we can plan something in person somewhere. You now have a dinner time for many people. So I'll say bye to everybody. But Ramkumar sir, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a wonderful session, Amit Prabhu sir. It's really an eye-opening session and a very simple terms you have explained PR in a superb way. Thank you so much. Yeah, sir. Please unmute. We are going to close it. So thank you very much for Amit. AB, please. Okay. Thank you very much for all for people. Okay, friends. Thank you so much for joining in this evening session. So we'll be posting the feedback form shortly. So I thank you very much, Mr. BSR Naidu. I thank you, our treasurer, Dr. Sridevi, who is an assistant professor in Viscom Department of Wales University. Also, I can see here. So thank you very much for all people who joined, including our chief guest today. So now we'll be posting the feedback form. You can fill it so that you can get the e-certificate. Thank you, Amitji. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah,
Have a
can
good
leave. Thank
night, all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, and all.
Dear participants, I have posted a feedback form to receive a e-certificate. Kindly fill up the feedback form and in another wonderful meeting we will meet all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sirji.
这个谜已经在我心中埋藏很久。你害怕让其他姐妹知道，所以安冷静，别装了就领，别再泄露他慈悲的容颜。